And Debbie Emily. She did? Okay.
I see her somewhere before. Good yeah, thank you. Yeah. There you go. Nice outfit. His brother was up there. So many scenarios.
So if it's not obvious by how much of my height is above this podium, and for those who don't know me, I'm Tammy's sister. She asked me to lead the service for Kenny, hoping that I wouldn't talk very much, all right? But that you all would. So that would make such a loving and fitting tribute and a special farewell by sharing your memories of your funny stories about, and any special moment you might have shared with Kenny. So I'm counting on you all to, as we conclude, to step up and share those moments, because your stories and memories create that time to heal and that time to laugh. As it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 4, There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to reap. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. On behalf of Tammy and Kenny's entire family, thank you for being here today. Thank you for supporting and sharing your love with them as they grieve the sad and sudden loss of a husband, a father, a brother, a grandfather, and an uncle. Kenny was the firstborn child of Kenneth and Shirley Chambers, and he grew up surrounded by the love and often the irritation of four sisters, Sherry, Kim, Felicia, and Kenda. And believe me, I know about irritating sisters. As Kenny grew up, he learned about hard work, how to fix things, especially cars. While he spent his career as a plumber, steam fitter, he had a lifelong love affair with cars, motorcycles, and racing of all kinds. He loved drag racing, he loved motorcycle racing, NASCAR, and for many years, he prepped cars for he, Tammy, Bridget, or Brooke to drive in demolition derbies. I'm sure you might have all seen him out there at some time or another. Kenny's first marriage brought Kelly, Bridget, and Brooke. And after marrying, he gained a stepson, Joe, and then another beautiful daughter, Amy. I'm sure you've all noticed that none of the girls share his fashion sense, avoiding plaid and overalls at all costs. But they were all blessed in particular with his gorgeous, thick hair. That's something he maintained throughout his life, much to the chagrin of my husband. So it's a source of great jealousy for many of you, I'm sure, too. To me, I was the occasional visitor from Minnesota, and a few things about Kenny will always stick with me. Obviously, his fashion sense, that I was an overall wearer in my youth, and I appreciate all of you who wore them today. It's wonderful. His beard, his hair, his love of a good salty joke. I won't share any of those. And his straightforward opinions that he shared whenever asked and on many topics. But particularly his abundant love and his pride in his children and his grandchildren. Carson, Megan, Lucy, Mia, Charles, and Kennison. So, brief as it is, to close this part of today's service, take a moment and please let the inner light that shines within and connects us to God and to each other fill your heart, and in silence, offer your love and prayers for Kenny, Tammy, Amy, Bridget, Brooke, Joe, and the entire family. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Amen. So to begin the sharing, I do have a story from Tammy, one that she can't tell without breaking into laughter and not being able to speak. But it happened when Tammy and Kenny were first married, and Kenny, sharing his love of motors and all things on wheels, decided to try and teach Joe to drive the three-wheeler. So he put Joe in front of him on the seat and sat behind him and started to explain about the thumb trigger for the gas and the foot brake. Well, Joe was about 7 years old, so you can imagine what happened when he told a 7-year-old to give it a little gas. Well, it popped up, Kenny went ass over tea kettle, landing on the ground. Joe didn't remember how to brake, so Tammy said the funniest part was Kenny scrambling to his feet, chasing the three-wheeler around the yard, trying to get it to stop. So with that, I know Amy has a story to share. And if you want to come up, the microphone makes it easier for everybody to hear.
For those who don't know me, I was the dirty the kid in the sandbox, and I had to come to you at our house. I just wanted to share a little bit about him. One thing I've learned as becoming more friends as an adult with all my dad's friends was that he had more things depending on who you talk to or how inappropriate he was with those people. People would be like, oh, I know Kitty, I know Kitty Mike, I know Larry, I know Animal, 50-50. Oh, is it your dad, Amy Nick? You know, no, that's not my dad. My dad was like, most importantly, he was daddy. He was Papa. I've never really cared about super at all until I had a boy. Now I know them all. The only one I ever really cared about was my dad. He's always been my hero. He was always the killer of the bugs in my house. The man I could call when I parked my car on the side of the road when I should have been driving as fast as I was. Most importantly, he was my confidant. He worked so hard his whole life to make sure that we never had a want for anything. The man used to get up at 4 in the morning, drive to Seymour and back, but he would be there at 2:30 to pick me up for breakfast. He'd always give me little nudges and hints of how I could be better. But if I ever hit it out of the park, he would buy me a junior dragster, and I never did. I wanted one so bad. He never let me do demo derbies. He said I wasn't as rough as Brooke Bridget. He told me that the king contest was one of my forte. And I did win. We'll never tell how much any of those dresses. He drove hundreds of miles, no matter what lover I needed. I remember making trips to McMurray because his car broke down again, and Dad would be out there working on it hours prior to his game. He'd still be out there watching every quarter, every minute, but he'd go out there just making him so proud. One thing none of you know other than my mom and Kirsten, Dad cannot cook to save his life. His version of cook was the smoke detectors beeping and every window and doors open. That's probably the reason we have flowers from Village Inn here. My dad did so much in his lifetime. He did painting. He taught me how to properly cut a corner when we painted our new house. I couldn't do it unless I did it right. He was a plumber, speed fitter, derby car builder, mechanic. The man was on a TV show. That was the craziest thing in my life, seeing that man on TV. He's the last person in the world you would have been like, okay, go on that Porter Ridge show. He made road trips to Florida, the most tolerable experience, by telling us this crazy stories about Floto and Flato, the road dogs of the highway. They weren't appropriate for my age, but he told them anyway. A man survived a tornado and lived to tell the tale. But his biggest win in life is being in love with my mom, his kids, and his grandbabies. He was happiest when he was teaching them something. The day he bought Bubby his new dirt bike, he was like, I'm so excited. He's like, he's all boy, just like Carson. Dad was always one of the first people to the hospital when we all gave birth to our babies. He sat there with me while I waited for my C-section on my last one. He also coached me on how bad my contractions were looking on the street. I've never really sworn at my father, but I told him, I fucking know, man, they hurt. A lot of people are timid and afraid of that large hairy man with those big overalls. Nobody knew that he was the biggest, softest teddy bear of a man who cared so much about everyone he knew. And not many people have a dad who welcomes each of his home or garage with open arms. My mom and dad have several adopted children out of my friends who felt like home was also a mom and dad's. she's gonna kill me for sharing this, but my best friend Chelsea flew with me to Florida to surprise me yesterday. And the first time she met Dad, I was doing her hair in the kitchen, and she was sitting on a wooden chair, and she looks at me and says, "Oh no." I go, "What?" She goes, "I have to fart." And I was like, "It's okay, trust me, my dad will not care." So Chelsea goes, "I'm gonna try to make it quiet." And then she ripped the loudest, most echoing fart off that wood chair, and Dad it was silent. And you just see him over there grinning, and he looks over and goes, "Chelsea, do you feel better?" And, you know, it just ended up being a competition of who could fart the most. People don't realize Mom and I were once mercy to them at that point. I'm gonna miss his smirk when something funny happened at the most inappropriate time. Just give me that nudge and grin like, "You believe this shit? Can you believe it?" Just want to thank all of you. The amount of love everyone has for this. I already knew I had that love, but to see other people who loved him just as much, it made my heart so happy. He loved all of you in some type of way, even if he gently bullied you every day of your life. I'm super sorry. But he was the absolute best dad, and I was so blessed to have him. I love him so much.
So my story is a little more lighthearted. We were a customer at a bank, Farmers and Mechanics, way back when in the 80s we started being customers there. One time I was out of work and the girls at the bank said, "Hey, you should come work here." So I applied, went to work at the bank. My first day on the job, and a girl named Lori is training me. And Lori says, "This is a great place. We've got great customers. But I'll just tell you, there's this one guy who scares me. He's mean, he's ugly, he's big. I won't wait on him, he scares me." She told me about this guy all week long. And she tells me, when he comes in, I hide. Finally in my own little window space, and in her booth. Over there was Lori on the other side of the divider. It's Friday. I'm just happily working in my little booth, and I look up, and here comes Kenny coming in to cash his paycheck. And so I'm like, and he's like, and I was like, "Kay," and I was telling Kay, "There's my husband," and Kay's like, "Oh," I said, "Where's Lori?" And Kay goes, and I said, "Where's Lori?" She goes, she points, and I walked over behind Lori's powder booth, and there she is, crouched on the ground, hiding. And she goes, "Shh, it's him." I said, "Lori," she goes, "No, shh, I'm here." I said, "Lori, that's my husband." And I started laughing. And I said, "He's really not." And she goes, "Okay." And from that day on, Kenny went to her window. That's my story. That just gives you an idea. Anybody else? Scotty? You've got one? Yeah, go again. Oh, it's all of you. Oh. I am Kenny's sister, Kim, and Alicia. And I wrote this the other night when I was grieving alone. Life sometimes seems so unfair. And losing our sister Sherry only months ago hit us all really hard.
And then our father lost his life from an auto accident on August 28th. Shocked and our minds reeling with grief and lost Larry, getting to Felicia, Kenda, and I leaned closer into our siblings' circle to grieve. Larry's always been my larger-than-life big brother. He was definitely a character, outspoken and funny, and always willing to help anyone who needed it. And I heard a lot of stories about that last night from people coming through, how he even gave a firefighter money, which means a lot to me because my son's a firefighter. He would never tell that he did that kind of thing. I know he wouldn't. He doesn't brag like that, except on his children and grandchildren. And he always loved babies because underneath his larger-than-life facade, he was a gentle, kind-hearted, and loving son, husband, grandpa, and brother. And I knew he'd always be there for me if I needed it, no matter what. And during my teen years, I even found out he had called out a few of my boyfriends that he didn't like how they were behaving. And I heard he did some other stuff like that yesterday too. He always had my back. And my sister's too, anybody's actually. One of my fondest memories as a little girl was hiking in the woods with him. He always knew the plants and the flowers' names, and we occasionally climbed up the hillside beside the waterfall. And only 2 weeks ago, he told me he was proud of me. That meant so much to me. And he was my big brother. As an adult, I sometimes talk about things that didn't make sense to me, and his reply would usually be, "Kim, that's just part of it. That's how life is." And yesterday when I said something to one of his friends, they said, "Kim, that's just part of it." And I said, "That's my brother talking to me." And he thought maybe some of it had rubbed off on him. I looked up to him, and he was and is the brother God chose for me long before either of us were born. For this, I'll forever, ever be thankful. And I could speak for hours about the things my brother had done or said. But on September 25th, my precious, loving gem of a brother was called home to heaven. And for me, it was way too soon, and I begged God not to take him. However, he did. And who am I to question God? Because I won't. And I grieve heavily, as my sisters and all our family do. But we continue to lean heavily on God and trust Him with my whole heart. Even today, as my heart feels shattered, I know God knows the future. And I'll continue to think of my dearest Larry and speak of him often and never let his memory die. And someday we will all meet him again, I know, in his new mansion and his amazing garage in heaven. Because I can only imagine how amazing his garage is. And we're going to miss him so much. Thanks.
Anybody else? Gabby, you got anything?
No, Carson.
Carson? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd kill myself if I didn't say anything about Hopper. I mean, my father, honestly. As per documentation he actually is my father. He was going through some things, and he actually adopted me and took me into his house. And that, I'll forever be grateful for that. Taught me everything as a man. He would push me, drive me. Be the biggest supporter there. Any football game, practice, Grandpa was there. Got in a little trouble, when I was younger. We won't go into that, but during that, that's my biggest thing was I just didn't want to disappoint him.
You never did it. You never did that.
Yeah, never disappointing. He kept pushing me. Got me into college. Biggest support. I was just telling Jesse that, every Friday I knew Grandpa was gonna throw that $50 in my account. That was the world to me, get some beer and hang out, Always on time, every day, every Friday, 9 a.m. He's there. He called me, make sure I got it, every time. That's just meant so much to me. For 4 years, it's that helped me a lot. All the car problems and everything with that. I drove all the way 5-6 hours away from home to go to college. When I got there, my car blew a head gasket. I was telling him, oh, Grandpa, it's a bad deal. But it's broke. He came up there with a trailer and grabbed it home, and I came back and I drove that the rest of 4 years. So, there's so much there's so many things that he did for me, did for everyone. It's just I can't believe he's gone. Kills me. I was lucky to have 29 years with him. I'm just I'm upset that the grandchildren don't get to spend the time that I have with him. They have a big impact on everything, everyday life. I moved away a month ago, and we were talking every week, and I just never done anything like this. Come home for the holidays and still see my grandfather. We were just talking to Grandma and myself when I moved back in their house. Carson still got to go to the valley. It's all right. What now? Well, yeah, he still got to go to the valley, so. Okay. Okay. Grandma's like, okay. Tammy, you think you can take him every day? So, Grandma, that was her responsibility here, just take me all the way across the river and then drive all the way back to Bloomington on 3rd Street and go to work. I'm forever grateful for that, yeah. And then I'd have football practice, and he would always come get me afterwards. Smoking a Swisher Sweet on it. Don't tell Grandma I'm smoking this. That's what he'd say. It was like, hey.
The first time I found those Fisher Sweets, I thought he was smoking blood.
Right. That's a good part of that, just a little quick story, picking up from football practice, I think it was before I could drive, maybe 8th grade. Maybe he was smoking a cigar. I said, what are you doing, Grandpa? I've never seen you do that. Oh, I always do this. And he had the window down, it was a crank window on the Colorado. A cherry fell off of the cigar and went under a seat. And the seat started to burn. And the seat burned underneath him. Well, don't tell anyone this. He burned a hole, and everyone's like, why is there a towel on that seat? No one can understand why they had a towel on his seat right there. It's because he burnt the seat up with a cigar. Oh, a lot of things to do and tell my grandmother, but yeah, he was caring, kind, the biggest support system I've ever had in my entire life. Just kind of missing. He's gone too soon to see what else I can achieve, what else the grandkids can achieve. But we'll continue to make him proud. That's it.
Those are hard stories to follow, but thank you for sharing your love and your grief at the same time. I had thought perhaps Ally wanted to say something. No? Amy thought you might.
I got some.
Come on.
Connor's got one.
I'm Larry's nephew, Connor, Kim's son. I'm just his daughter. But I wasn't around as much as I really wanted to be. But every time at Thanksgiving, it'd just be something different. From Larry, he took his finger, he like poked me in the side of it. I'm like, dang, dude, that was intentional. And I'd go home and practice it. My finger just bent. It was just like rebar, man. And at Thanksgiving too, he taught me how to be a good fat man. He told me, man, you gotta put more on that plate so you don't have to go back for seconds. So I started just 4 or 5, 6 pieces of turkey and stuff and loaded up. And, he was just a great man. I was just talking to him the other week about eating that clover leaf tea. I just wish I could go there. He's a great, hard man. Wish we could get that time back. Spend more time with your loved ones, because you don't know what next week will bring.
That finger was all.
Oh, shit.
Hi, I'm Uncle Larry's niece. I just wanted to share some things that my grandma shared with me, spending time with her. She always got a kick out of this, and she told me it multiple times. Uncle Larry was spending time with Dad Chambers, and they were eating oysters. A little tiny shit. He said, Grandpa, what's this green stuff? Dad Chambers said, that's shit, Larry. They kept eating it, and Larry looked at Grandpa and said, well, give me some more of that shit stuff. Anyways, at Thanksgiving, my favorite thing was sitting on the couch, waiting on my Uncle Larry. Then my cousin Jesse Bang walking in. I got so excited to see him. Then I walked past Uncle Larry. There's that jab in the back. But I is, I'm really gonna miss him. A great deal. Doesn't let her dad and miss an uncle. Thank you.
Yeah. That was beautiful. Jesse, you gonna tell the other Thanksgiving?
I guess I'll tell Buddy.
Okay.
I didn't know if I could get through it, but Carson again, my God. Lord have mercy. So I had, everybody knows Carson here, and I had him when I was quite young. And they told me for months on end that I was having a girl. I painted the room all pink. I had beautiful decorations. I had 2 showers. Everything was bought for girls. I had a single boy thing. Nothing blue, pink walls. It was, yeah. So I go and everybody's in there. Pretty much everybody in this room. I mean, there was a lot of people in there that day. I mean, it was like my first kid, and I'm like, there's 20 people in there. It was something. So when I have Carson, he comes out, and my Aunt Sherry screams, "Oh my God, Kitty, it's a boy!" And he went berserk. And from then on, it was him and Carson. And we got Carson's name because my dad loves to work on cars, and Kendra came up with that, actually. So from then on, I pretty much knew it was, because my dad had 4 girls, he wanted that boy, so. But from then on, it was pretty much him and Carson on out. My dad went through a lot in his life. It's just really heartbreaking. What he had to go through here at the last, and it just really breaks my heart. I know that really been hard on him. And like Amy said, she had the best. She pretty much hit on everything good. I love my dad with everything. I always try to fight for him. Hopefully I'll be okay ever again. Thank you.
Okay, go tell it. Or I can tell it. Well, I'm sure everybody will remember it once they're reminded of it. You won't forget this one. I think any of you.
My cousin Jesse, when I called him when I was out in my dad's garage, and his number was on his list of important people on the fridge. He had his key players, and I'm gonna guess his rotation of who he's gonna call, when he's gonna call. Jesse and I got to chatting about holidays down at Grandma Shirley's, and told me about a time where Dad basically set off a gas bomb from his own ass. So bad that it cleared the house. Grandma Shirley asked her, "What is wrong with you?"
It's nice to hear Grandma ran past me going,
Grandma ran right out the house. The woman, she was frail. She shouldn't have been ready. I wish I could say that it probably only happened once, but I know it happened many times that Grandma's bathroom was too close to the kitchen. I also, to kind of piggyback off Carson, seeing Papa smoking the Swisher cigars and stuff like that. Mom and Dad quit smoking about the same time. And there was one day when we moved to the new house, and I don't think he knew that I got home from school, and he was sitting on the back steps, and I opened up the door and surprised him, and he just flicked it. And I said, "What the heck is that?" He goes, "You don't dare tell your mother what happened." I said, "Now listen." I go, "You put together." I was like, "You're supposed to stay put together." He goes, "I'm a grown man." I was like, "I understand you're a grown man." I was like, "That woman's gonna beat you." He goes, "You ain't gonna tell her, Bernie. You ain't gonna tell her." I was like, "Well," and I told him. I don't keep secrets from him.
And then we caught him red-handed, not much.
Yeah, we caught him, yeah, he kind of gave up.
Joe.
Once he knew that I knew, it was,
Yeah. It took him like 12 more years.
I do know lots of stories about, being out in the garage with dad and all his buddies, where it would kind of be like a earmuffs moment where you'd be like, oh, go play in your sandbox, because usually Scotty and Joe, and Big Joe, and Norm are gonna talk about adult things that I shouldn't hear. They used to let me, smash the windows out, and we'd have paint parties where we got to paint the demo cars, and make sure we got all of our buddies' names on it, you know, make sure we spelled the names right, and that they were wrong with parents, I know you guys know more about Dad. I wish you would share some of the stories that you probably would never tell me. Probably because you didn't want me to think that he was an old perverted man. I've gone through his best now in the garage, so I know.
Hot rods.
Yeah.
From 2005.
I'll just say that, once he started on Porter Ridge, I told many people in Minnesota about this show, and my brother-in-law was on it. And they all watched it and said, which one of the guys with beards? Because they said, does he have a twin? It was, too bad it was short-lived. He was a television star.
Yes, he was.
So, does anybody have anything else that they'd like to share at this time? If not, oh, please.
Try.
You can.
Me and Scotty and Nick, we all grew up in the driveway. He got me building derby cars, got me into it, got me in the union. He was like me and Scotty's second dad. We'd hang out there every night in the dark, by the time to go home. Well, these kids, and Scotty took me around everywhere. Kenny was getting Bridget's car ready, and I was little, mean. We drained the oil out, Mel Lady's dog came over there, had the mains. So Dad and Kenny said, well, Joe, take that motor on and paint that dog. So I painted the dog. Well, Mel Lady, I think it was Mel, wasn't it?
No, lady.
So the dog goes home, scared, runs in on the white couch there. So Dad and Kenny said, well, it's time to go get lunch. We left the driveway, never forget that. But, you know, I got enough stories, we could go for weeks. Scotty had a lot of fun building courts there. And back when Brooke and Bridget, you know, we all ran tight together in high school and stuff. I didn't have to worry about any girls ever say anything bad about me. Just shit out of them. They even said one bad thing. Then if they did that, they had Bridget, so. But no, we was running derbies, me and the girls. And Tim had so much fun back then. It was like my second or third year, fourth year or something, 1996. Me and Scotty had been building a station wagon. I cheated on. Went to the fair, got down to the inn. We had it won. It was down to one Mel Crane's cars, Tony Roberts was in it. The logs had got pushed out of the way. I had to make one more hit. Well, there's some people there promoting it that didn't like none of us. So, just say that the logs got shoved out, they came out and broke my stick off. Well, Kenny came to the gate,
Oh, this is another buddy.
went out there, grabbed the tin, threw it head first on top of the car. The derby's still going on, sitting on top of my car. And Sam Barrow, Roger Kerr, and all of them. It become a pretty big mess out there. They call Well, back up, police in from Ellisville and Spencer. But he was always there for me.
I think I told your dad that day, I said, go make sure he doesn't get arrested. Joe goes, I can't do that.
Video,
Dad was
or I
on-
was videotaping, you're like, oh.
I've got a lot of texts that we need to sit down and discuss the girls and everybody. He was a hell of a man.
Crazy, Joe.
Well, at this time then, all of those who would like to be at the committal service at Chambersville can go out to their cars and be ready to join the procession out to the cemetery. So, Tammy, you will lead the way out. Thank you, thank you all for sharing.